Not today. I've only been up for like an hour. I didn't get anything done last night, but I did get a lot of sleep. So I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna get back to watching vlogs. I just checked my CRA account. That's Canada Revenue Agency. It's the Canadian IRS. And they are giving me my benefit. Did I watch this? I did. Okay. Um, make some eggs tomorrow, I guess. Next week's partying. It turns out the party that I was concerned it wasn't going to happen on Friday. They moved it to there's a really big gay complex in Ferndale. I've never been there before. I think I explained this once before. Is that dancing in gay bars is I tend to avoid gay bars for the same reason that a lot of women avoid straight bars, right? I can dance at a straight club and be mostly kind of left alone. I mean, the odd guy might bother me, but it's definitely not very. It's very low probability, and I can usually deal with it. My experience at gay clubs has been that I'm kind of a magnet, and that's kind of what I don't want. So I'm thinking about it. I've never been there. I mean, it's maybe not fair to. Not fair to judge a place you've never been to. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's at the gay club. That doesn't mean it's a gay party, right? So I mean, it's. I'm thinking about it. It's a bit further out, right? And the fact that it's a bit further out, it means that if it's an hour bus ride, then I don't have to spend an hour in. I don't have to spend an hour in the diner, but I do spend an hour on the bus. I'd rather spend an hour on the bus because, it's to get a coffee and it's too far to walk. That's clear. Well, I can maybe check. If it's an hour bus ride, I mean, even if I'm pretty sure it's too far to walk. I think I'd be looking at like a 3-hour walk. Right. So, I mean, it seems like it's going on far, but the thing about Friday though is that there's like a thing before the party that I'm interested in going to, right? If I can find something that's open late that's a little bit closer to town, I may prioritize that. But this looks like an interesting DJ. It's at a place I've never been to before. I'm thinking about it, but I'm flat broke. I've got 16 cents left, so I have a plan. This plan it required that CRA money to come through on the 5th. So that's $100 on the 5th. I still owe the loan shark $160. That's money that's going to kind of come in on the 30th of June. I would normally have $160 roughly spending money for a month, except in the months that I get $100 from GST, right? So that gives me $100 for July. If I can convince somebody to lend me money and have them pay me back in August, right? So it's on July 30th. If it's June 30th, I'm going to be broke for July, right? If I borrow money for June 30th, I'd only be looking to borrow around 100, right? So I could pay them back the $100 from GST plus the $100 around the 1st of July, right? Although I need to double check that that's feasible as well. Well, it would just mean I'd have to wait a few days to do grocery shopping. That's if it's July. If it's August, then I could conceivably even give them back half of it. Because I think my plan is that I have to borrow 2, right? And I'd want to give them back 1 at the beginning of July, one way or the other. And the way I do it probably actually is only spend half of it and just give them back half what I borrowed, right? Okay, so what that means is it came through. I need to double check the Ontario benefit. I don't. I expect that will go through. Um, there was an issue last year, but the issue last year had to do with I filed late. I filed on time this year, but I need to see that before I make any choices, right? So what I'm gonna want to come in. I'm gonna want to wait until the end of it, right? So I'll probably want to go in on Friday morning and ask, can I do this with a payment date on August 1st? If I can, then the rest of the month looks clear. And I'll even probably be okay for July and August. If not, then I'm gonna have to think about it because borrowing it means I'll be broke for July, and I'll need to kind of juggle whether I think it's better to go tonight or the other night. Otherwise, I could conceivably, if I can get it for August 1st, like I say, then I could probably even enjoy the whole summer. So the fact that this came through this morning, or whatever time it was today, that's big news for me. That's good. That means something will work out one way or the other. Now, like I say, for today, I'm gonna get something to eat and I'm gonna watch some vlogs. Nothing particularly exciting because I gotta figure out what I'm doing with those broken files, and then go from there. Next challenge we got to deal with is that the refugees out here are burning some kind of incense. That's no doubt some kind of, you see the smoke there. No doubt some kind of religious ritual. Again, it's like, check the calendar date. It's 2017. You can't be just like randomly burning things in your backyard, and when people call you on it, be like, it's my religion. My religion. I do what I want because it's my religion. No, we have the science. It's 2017. We know that now. All you're doing is releasing carcinogenic fumes into the atmosphere. You're probably contributing to global warming. And you're bothering people. It's my religion. No, it's not my religion. It's get with the fucking times. That's just cancer. There's nothing, that's cancer. What you're doing is cancer. There's nothing more or less to it. All you're doing is releasing cancer into the environment. And if you want to put some ooga booga, some mythological nonsense attached to it, then whatever, but I don't want to deal with it. And if I'm going to have to deal with it, we're going to have a talk about it. Okay, so how am I going to deal with this? If this is like once a year, I can probably deal with it, right? If it's like every week, we're gonna have to go talk. In fact, even if it's like just like even if it's more than like I'm just trying to where can I set that thing set back here? The question is, what are they doing? Like, why are they burning things in the backyard, right? Like, it's probably a result of, well, I mean, it's clearly some kind of mindless ritual, right? They're doing it because their parents did it and their parents did it, and there's probably not really actually much thought behind it, right? They might not even know why they're doing it. And if you ask them, why are you burning the incense? Because we always burn the incense, right? It might be that simple, right? I mean, this is the reality, is that most people that follow religions don't really understand the religion that they're following. They're just doing it because it gives them some kind of a comfort, right? It's a ritual, it's a habit, it's some kind of normalcy, it's some kind of connection to a lost culture or something, right? I get that. And if that's the case, then maybe I can kind of explain to them, okay, you're bothering people, fuck off, But what's going to be a little bit more concerning is like, what if I go out there and I talk to them and they're like, we're warding off evil spirits, or or some hokey bullshit, right? I'm cleansing my soul, or I don't know what they're doing, but like, if there's some, you know, some nonsensical, absurd thing attached to it, right? Um, I feel that the thing that I should do is I should ask them, like, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that this is fending off evil spirits? Do you really believe that it's cleansing your soul? If you really believe that, then maybe we can talk to a psychiatrist. And if you don't really believe that, well then, let's maybe there's other ways to, carry out your woo, right? Like I say, if it's one night, I can keep the windows closed and the heat up for a night. It's kind of a shame that it's the warmest night of the year. Like, I'm gonna want to have the windows open eventually, right? Like, I can already feel the air down here, and it's terrible. It's depressing. But like, if it becomes a habit, I'm gonna have to go challenge them and ask them to stop. And like, I don't give a fuck if it's your religion. I'm sorry, you're bothering people. You need to take in consideration the fact that what you're doing has an effect on other people. And I guess next, I can look into bylaws. Maybe there's something I can do to try to, like, minimize the amount of smoke that they're creating. I think it's obvious that if you're gonna burn shit, you should go into the woods. I don't know why. I don't know why people can't see that that's obvious, right? You're gonna sit in your backyard in a residential neighborhood and just start burning shit. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, why can't you see that that's obviously gonna bother people? Are you that feeble-minded that you can't figure out that, oh shit, I'm burning something in my backyard that's gonna bother someone? That never crossed your mind? You can't figure that out? You don't have the intuition to grasp that? Or is it that you don't care? That you just don't give a fuck what other people think? That you know that what you're doing is bothering people, but meh. It's my religion. Whatever I do, I feel I should not do it right now because I'm upset. And, like, that's not the first time I noticed the smell, but that's, like, by far way, way worse than anything I've ever, like, it was just plumes. So I have to think that it was, like I say, some like lunar thing on their calendar or something, and hopefully it goes away soon. If it doesn't, like, I don't want to understand. Okay, I want to remove the source of dramatic carcinogens. Okay, to me, this is not an issue of religion. This is, sure, they're doing some rites or whatever, but who fucking cares, right? Like, that's not. We can't be making public policy based on religion. We need to be basing public policy based on science, and what they're doing is clearly polluting. They're just polluting the air. Okay, there's no other, or there's no value in trying to, make it sound better than it is. The actual rational analysis of what they're doing is they're really not doing anything except creating pollution in their backyard. And if they're just going to sit there and create pollution in the backyard, then other people have a right to tell them to fuck off. So, we'll find out soon enough. But like I say, if it's one night, I can deal with it. I'm going to want to take a shower. These fans are going to be running for a while. I've got the windows closed. It's disgusting. And there's really nothing else. There's no other way to put it. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was a full moon on Friday. That's probably what it was. Full moon on Friday, and their calendar probably is too shitty to be able to figure out what day the full moon actually is. So they have their celebrations sometime around the full moon because They can't figure out when the actual full moon actually is. And all they have to do is fucking Google it. No, I think that that's probably actually true, right? They're probably running on a calendar system. I mean, it's not like the Roman systems were perfect either, but the rest of the world has adjusted and changed, right? They probably think the full moon's tonight. And so they're doing their magical rites to the moon. You want to know what Islam actually is? That's what Islam actually is. Sacrifices to the moon.